Hi and welcome back. Yes, I've got Kathleen and Gerhard from Vital Signs Consulting. Great name, by the way. And all about giving you the confidence to be your own brand so you can live that ultimate freedom of life that you want to. And we're talking a little about your background. We've known where you've come from, your own challenges. Thanks for sharing some of them because they can be quite personal. But people go, okay, so you've gone through this, but there must have been solutions that you've managed to bring into your own world that you're able to bring for clients. What are some of the things you found for yourself that have gone, these are great, these are giving us the breakthroughs and they're helping us enjoy the success that we're having?
I think for me, if I can start, is working in South Africa, I had a business mentor. And that made a huge difference. And I want to acknowledge Martin Ellenberger from Cape Town. He was just a remarkable person in my life, teaching me business. And later on, the company got me a business coach. So I had a business coach and a business mentor.
So the business got you a business coach?
Yes.
Wow, now that's forward thinking.
Oh yes, no, totally. And because we were growing so much, I think they saw the potential. And having a business coach and a business mentor, it changed my life. The way I do things and think about things just changed completely. I'm not the same person now than 15 years back. And I'm grateful for those people in my lives. And I think that's why we do this, that we can have an impact on somebody else's life, that they can look back 5-6 years and say, whoa, this is a transformation.
Yes.
So I don't know how you feel.
I would absolutely agree with that. I think we could have probably, in building Vital Signs Consulting, figured it out ourselves eventually.
Yes.
But having business coaches is a little bit like having a GPS. You put the coordinates in, you know where you're going, and you can check the map and make sure you're passing the landmarks.
Yes.
I think probably one of our biggest challenges and greatest breakthroughs in terms of solutions and what we can now offer our clients is being that sounding board, because what tends to happen when you start a business is you get caught up in your own head. And so you fixate on tiny little details which are incredibly important to you, because
every
this is your
business owner
baby.
now starting to laugh and go, oh,
That logo.
Kathleen's talking to me.
The business name, I can't tell you how many tears were shed about having the perfect name, looking it up on ABN and then looking it up to see if the domain name was there, and just having that all fall apart. And if you don't have somebody keeping you accountable just keeping those things in perspective, it's very easy to be busy but not be productive. And at the end of the day, you have to get productive because you're in it to earn a living by doing this.
Reminds me, I had an old manager, the very first manager I had, and I was rushing through the place. He said, what are you doing? So I got a good big quote to do. He said, so tell me, you're rushing to do the quote, or you're rushing to clean your desk before you do the quote? I'm like, I'll do the quote. He goes, good answer. But I understand.
It's very easy to lose perspective. And I think also just having somebody with experience to be able to talk through and to really begin with the end in mind, so that you've almost got this blueprint before you actually start the business up. You've thought things through. Gerhard referred earlier to, you've got to work on a business, because if you don't have a business, what you really have is a job. You replace one job for another. And just being able to talk these things through as a couple with business coaches really made a very big difference for us.
Yeah. You both mentioned strategies, planning, blueprints there. Do you find when you work and yourselves, by having that blueprint, and I'm sure you've had the obstacles put in the way, but because you can see the end, has that made it easier for you to go around the obstacles without too much grief?
It's a different perspective on your business, because you look for where you want to be and you reverse engineer.
Yes.
From
one of
year,
my favourite terms. Love it.
You work to 1 month, 1 week, 1 day. So suddenly it is much more manageable to get to your goals. So that was the biggest thing for us with our coaching, is that you have to reverse engineer.
Yes.
And always have the bigger picture in your head.
Every successful person that I've ever spoken to, and we can talk some big names as well, they've either got mentors, or they've got advisory boards on working with them, or they've got business coaches like yourselves working with them. one thing I hear though is that sometimes it's the business coach can give a little bit of tough love because if they challenge you and you can't answer it, they don't go away. They don't let you get away. They go, no, you said this. Do you find that's one of the strengths that you picked up from being coached yourself?
Yep.
The ability to recognise when something needs to be challenged so it doesn't waylay someone or drift them off on the wrong path?
And I think that's sometimes almost impossible to see for yourself when you're in the situation. And it's an interesting balance because in a way as a coach you've got to be the person's biggest cheerleader,
Yes.
but you've also got to be their biggest taskmaster.
Sergeant Major.
Yes.
Master, you've got to give
Says
them the
the
strategies.
over there.
but it's about accountability,
Yeah.
and that's I think where it's also good to be a husband and a wife team because we can sometimes play those roles together. You know.
Yeah. How do you? Because that can be scary for some people. They can say, "Hold on, you're going to challenge me," and what? How do you help them overcome? Because I know what it's like when you very first go through with a coach. It can be quite emotional.
Yeah.
It's a little bit nervy. You're not quite sure. They challenge you and and then they want to quit because it's easier to go and hide. How do you help people get past that emotional? How did you do it? Was it because you're together?
It made it easier.
Yeah.
I think it does make it easier if you've got support, you know, someone in your family or your friends group who understands what you're trying to accomplish. Because as you say, a lot of people just go, but you've got great jobs.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Why are you trying to complicate your life? So I think it does help if you have that support. But I think ultimately you get to the point where we did, where you want something bad enough and you know that if you don't change, things aren't going to change on their own.
No.
And that sort of drives you. And I think also you don't just jump into the coaching process. I think we're very good at getting people to understand how coaching works.
Yes.
And we agree together. It's a partnership, really. You agree on the goals and how you're going to get there.
But also, when I start, I always ask, are you interested in coaching or are you committed? Because if you're interested, it means you will do something until it gets a bit hard and then you stop. But if you're committed, you will do whatever it takes.
Yes.
So if you're just interested, then coaching is not for you. But if you are committed that you want to reach your goal, then coaching will definitely get you there much faster.
I think that commitment is what we see in all the stars, whether it be a tennis player or whether it be a business entrepreneur. You know, even like Branson, I know that name gets thrown around, but we have lots. You know, I think of people like Maggie Tabra here in Australia, and Ida Buttrell is one of my favourite entrepreneurs of all time because of what she actually changed the business world for women. I'll go on the record and say that. Yeah. Talk about commitment and guts.
Yes.
Do you think it takes that level do you think you've got to have that courage to step into this world?
I do. I think it's terrifying and exhilarating at the same time. It's always scary to step into the unknown.
You said that, and I was thinking about the toboggan racing at the Olympics. I'm going, terrifying and exhilarating. It's a bit like that, isn't it? Yeah. Well, just about as scary.
But I also think, you know, we were never taught at university to be entrepreneurs. We were never taught at school to be entrepreneurs. And I think that is the thing that changed now at schools, at universities.
Yeah.
So our generation getting, some 50, 60, they want to retire and they can't. So actually people at 55, 60 are actually more coachable than younger people because they know we only got 5 or 6 years to do things. So
and we missed out.
Yes.
The world has changed, and it's true. You know, growing up, that's what you did. You got good grades so that you could do well at school, so you could go to uni and you could get a good job.
Yes.
And I know certainly when we grew up, I don't know if they did it in Australia, but in South Africa, if you'd worked for a company sort of for 30 years, you got a gold watch. So it was expected that you'd get a good job and you'd stay there and you'd get a gold watch. And the world has changed so much. I think there's such opportunity for people to really live their passions and earn a living.
There's certainly a lot more opportunity for freedom as well. We'll take a quick break and we'll wrap this up. We'll come back with Kathleen and Gerhard and wrap up this bit of a session discovering who is actually behind Vital Signs Consulting.